Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV, and we are here with a brand new review, and we are going through our comedy list. And it's actually crazy how this works, because this is actually a comedy film and it is a film from 2025, so we're doing a 2-in-1 here. Just got done watching the brand new Naked Gun, kind of a reboot sequel. I'm not gonna lie, this one surprised the hell out of me. This is one of those movies where I went in with basically zero expectations. I didn't really even know that the Naked Gun was a franchise. I might have heard the name before, but I knew Liam Neeson was in it, of course. I actually didn't know Pamela Anderson was in it until I actually started watching the movie, but I had no idea what kind of movie this actually was. Again, I'm not familiar with the franchise at all. And then about 10 to 15 minutes in, it just clicks. Like, this is some real life Looney Tunes type of shit. This is pure slapstick comedy, and I am so happy we are covering it, because it's gonna open the possibility of me to review the entire franchise, which I think I'm going to do, because this was a blast. Once you understand the movie, like, you're either in or you're completely out. Me and my dad, I think we were in. I don't think I'm all the way in, but it's just laughter the entire time. This is a blast of a movie. I loved it, and now I might actually have to go back and watch the original trilogy. I'm not going to watch the TV show, which came on during the 80s, but this movie completely sold me on this style of comedy. I'm usually not one for that silly, goofy shit. Like, I've definitely complained about it in past videos, but man, this was a good fucking time. So getting into the premise, I mean, if you're not aware of what this movie is about, the story itself is obviously simple. I mean, it's a comedy. Most comedy films have simple concepts. Like, it almost doesn't even matter. Like, you almost don't even need to know what's happening in this movie to get a good kick out of it. You've got Frank Drebin Jr., who is played by Liam Neeson, this completely clueless, chaotic, kind of scandalous police officer for the police squad. I don't even know where the fuck they're at. He's trying to solve what is basically like this CSI level conspiracy plot almost. It almost reminds you of like a Law and Order episode in terms of like what's actually happening. Now, I'm not trying to insult those type of shows, but the difference here is obviously everything that happens is taken to the absolute extreme. Everything that happens here is over exaggerated, like how many times you're getting coffee, driving cars through pedestrians. It's not a normal investigation, obviously. Like, you've got people losing their minds over random triggers and fucking vibrations and shit. You have absurd setups that escalate out of nowhere. This movie just takes it to levels both raunchy and just overall goofy that you wouldn't expect. Frank is just casually causing destruction like it's nothing. He's the most scandalous police officer in the area. He's killed a lot of innocent people. Obviously, he's killed criminals, but a lot of innocent people. And it's basically a crime movie if nobody involved had any awareness of reality. And honestly, I think that's exactly what makes it work, because not only does it seem like they're kind of making fun of crime movies, they're also just making an absolute blast of a comedic film. I don't know. Moving on though, because we are going to get into the good. There's a lot of good to say about this. Obviously, just starting with Liam Neeson as this deadpan, perfect character, perfect actor to cast as Drebin. I think this is the biggest surprise of the entire movie. Liam Neeson in a slapstick comedy. I don't really know a whole lot about Liam Neeson. I don't really know a whole lot of his films specifically. I'm sure I've like encountered him in some of the movies I've watched on this channel, but obviously like just his demeanor and how he acts, like, sounds weird as hell to have him in a slapstick comedy. And if I would have known what this franchise was and I saw him on the casting, I would have been like, no fucking way, this is Frank Drebin Jr. But in execution, I think it works perfectly, and it shows kind of the versatility of him as an actor. He plays everything so calm, so serious, kind of so nonchalant about his job, while the most ridiculous things imaginable are happening around him. And I think that's kind of just the beauty of this movie. It's just pure deadpan. It is just pure, like, so casual about things. There's no sense of emotion at all with this character. I think that's what makes the jokes hit even more. It is such a unique delivery of comedy, and it is great. It honestly reminds me of what people say about, like, in terms of actors, in terms of legacy, in terms of career, it kind of reminds me of what, like, Bob Odenkirk did in Nobody, where it's like, this is not what you expect from this actor, but it absolutely works. He never feels out of place in this movie either at all. It's a little goofy, you know, at the beginning when he's coming out of the little girl disguise, but once you understand the tone of the movie, his performance actually feels like kind of just the anchor of the chaos. And getting into the comedy style, this is where the movie really shines. It is, again, so unique as a comedy. There are multiple types of comedy happening at once. You get these rapid fire jokes, which to me is the best part of it, easily. I mean, you get constant wordplay, misunderstanding, flips on common phrases. That's the bread and butter of why this movie is so funny. And it's hard to kind of explain in one sentence or one word of what makes this movie funny, but it's just that, like, there's so many lines. The Lieutenant Drebin, yeah, me too, literally grab a seat. How did she pass? Or like, pass 50 yards. It's that type of humor where you almost miss jokes because they're so subtle with it, because another one just comes right after and they just keep stacking on, they just keep going with it, and it can seem kind of cringy on the surface when you're looking at it, but I absolutely love type of humor. The visual gags, hit or miss, but still definitely fun, like the disguises that Frank Drebin takes over, the absurd physical comedy, cartoon level violence, you know, birds shitting on people, him kicking people's heads off and there's no blood coming out of it, him eating a gun. Like, it's ridiculous. It's very over the top, but that's kind of the point, and that's kind of the type of comedy that this movie is going for, and that's why it's so unique. That's why it was such a hit, because it kind of took a cartoony TV show type of concept and put it in a motion picture, and it's really awesome. I think obviously this movie's not trying to be realistic at all, and then you just get the absurdity. This is like the Looney Tunes type of shit, like people getting run over casually. Like, it's a very dark take on like the cartoon nature of some like violence and stuff, because like people are getting run over casually, completely illogical sequences, random chaos happening for no reason. But instead of feeling dumb, it feels intentional. This movie is very intentional with how it goes about it. It's like watching, again, a live action cartoon, and once you accept that, it becomes hilarious. Once you figure out the identity of this, because I didn't watch the original franchise again, it's great. Pamela Anderson, she's obviously cast for her presence. They obviously put her in the movie to get asses in seats, because who doesn't like Pamela Anderson? Mrs. Baywatch herself, let's be honest here. She actually does more than what's on the surface, more than just is on a screen and stuff. She has very solid chemistry with Liam Neeson, surprisingly so. She has really good comedic timing. She plays into the absurd tone really well. She kind of intertwines herself with it very well. The movie definitely leans into her looks, her image, kind of her legacy as an actress, but she still contributes to the comedy. The dream sequence alone was ridiculous in the best way. Obviously, there are a lot of funny moments, but a few certainly stand out. And the only really good things I'm going to talk about and stuff is the comedy, because obviously, like, there's not a whole lot of cinematography, there's not a whole lot of story and character development. This movie is just having fun with its concept. The binocular dog scene where he's looking through the binoculars and it looks like he's fucking the dog, or the dog sucking his dick. That might be one of the funniest sequences I've seen in a while. It's obviously fucked up and has some dark humor to it, but it's just pure chaos unfolding in the background. And like the henchman's completely unaware of like what he's actually looking at. Also, again, random civilians getting caught in the crossfire of like the police squad intervening in these situations like these robberies, and people are getting killed. Frank being completely oblivious to everything. Again, the owl moment, like, daddy? You know, grown-ass man saying daddy. The over-the-top investigation scenes. And honestly, some of the funniest jokes are the ones you don't even catch right away, and you think about it for a second, you're like, oh, fucking shit, that's why he said that. Oh, it's so fucking awesome. Like, she was a real saint. He's like, more like a 49er or a Bronco. Like, shit like that is so fucking funny. And the wordplay is hilarious, and just makes you really think about how we say things, and it's like, why do we word shit like that? Take a seat, alright, I'll fucking pick it up and leave with it. Like, you know what I mean? It's great. I love comedies like this now. Didn't really realize it before, but here you go. And getting into the bad, there's honestly not much to complain about. Obviously, this is a bad movie on the surface, like realistically, if we're talking about Oscar considerations, if we're talking about quality control. Obviously, some jokes are cringy or ridiculous, just plain dumb, but that is the point of the movie. The movie is good at what it does. Now, if you want to lambaste it for the shitty effects, or the scrappiness of it, or just like the dumbass jokes and the generic, and you can do that, but it's what it does. If you don't like that style, you're just not going to like the movie. I feel like you just have to accept that this movie is not going to be good for you. It's a very simple concept. It's not an A-list film, even though it has A-list actors in it. I think it went straight to Amazon Prime. Nope. I don't even know if it had a theatrical release. If you like comedy like this, if you like silly shit, if you like airplanes, if you like kind of Dumb and Dumber, if you like cartoony shit, you're gonna fucking love this. And I don't love cartoony shit. Again, I like a lot of grounded stuff in nature, but I know this is supposed to be a bad section, but I don't really have anything to complain about. It's kind of like sensitive, and it's kind of foolish to even put anything in this section, so we're just gonna move on. Now, getting into the the plot, of course. The story is fine. I think it's whatever. For this movie, the setup is pretty simple. Basically, just a setup for the jokes. This movie is a pure comedy. It has crime scene stuff, and it has ways things connect, and it has plots, and it has murder plots, it has manipulation, it has villains, it has all this sorts of stuff. Antagonist, protagonist, climaxes. Like, it's a very, like, fundamental story, but it's weird in that way. It takes a weird mix of Law and Order, crime shows like Y50, conspiracy thrillers, complete nonsense. It basically takes, like, things that have been explored before in TV shows and movies and just makes it fucking absurd. You don't watch this movie for the plot, though, which, why would you? It doesn't pretend like you should. It doesn't even try to really highlight the story in a way. Modern comedy versus this, just kind of getting into that and comparing it. This is something I really noticed while watching it. Modern comedy doesn't even exist like it used to. Now, obviously, this wasn't the standard of comedy back in the day. Rarely any franchises or even standalone films use this type of comedy, because most people don't really want to see this. Most people want more clever jokes than just stupidity. And this movie does seem to like question the intelligence or insult the intelligence of the people watching it. I don't feel that way, which is why I enjoy it. But like a lot of newer comedies do play it safe and like rely on awkward humor, just don't go all the way. This movie just doesn't care. Like, it's balls to the wall in every way. It has raunch, it has satire, it has irony, it has all that shit where it's like, ha, it has physical humor, emotional humor, it has everything, verbal humor. It's loud, it's ridiculous, it's in your face about what it is supposed to be. It almost forces itself on you. It's unapologetically stupid, and I think that is refreshing. You don't get movies like that anymore. And for them to carry the Naked Gun franchise the way they did, even though I didn't know it existed before, I have a lot of respect for that, because not a lot of people are going to like this movie, I don't think, unless you grew up during that time. But even though it is a 2025 movie, it feels like something straight out of the 80s, the 90s, or even the early 2000s. Now, not a lot of 2000s movies. They definitely go more in the raunch than just like this clever, goofy shit, but it's got old school comedic energy mixed with modern production. I think that comedy works really well, and when you have really awesome actors and actresses to play these characters, I think it's a blast. Again, this movie, it's nice and concise. It's under an hour and a half. I think it's only like an hour 20 when you really watch it, maybe even an hour 15. It gets to the point. It's funny as hell the entire time, does what it's supposed to do. I guess it was in theaters. Shout out to this movie, man. I don't know. So getting into the review, I think overall the brand new Naked Gun, the reboot, is just a really fun time. Like, it's not trying to be deep. It's not trying to even be super smart with its comedy, even though it has a lot of subtleties that work in that way. It just wants to make you laugh. It just wants to make you have a good time in the theaters or at home, wherever you were watching, and it does that consistently. There's deadpan humor, there's rapid fire jokes, there's absolute absurdity and madness to this thing. It all comes together in a way that feels unique. Now again, I know there's 3 other movies that are probably just like this, but especially if you've never really experienced this style of comedy before, like myself, I think it was quite refreshing. This was my first real exposure to pure slapstick comedy. Now you get films like The Ballads of Ricky Bobby with Talladega and a lot of things that like John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell were in, but they never fully went into slapstick. They never went into that goofy, cartoony shit, and this movie does that, and I loved it. And now I actually want to go back and watch the original films. I think that says a lot about this thing. It's not a perfect movie, but one of the most entertaining comedies I've watched in a while, and definitely one of the most pleasant surprises of the year. Now this score might throw you guys off because it is a comedy. I'm probably going to give this like an 8 to 8.2 out of 10. I kind of want to give it an 8.2 out of 10 because for what it is really awesome. It is a very enjoyable film. I like it. Yeah, it's not like an Oscar worthy or like something people are going to laud as one of the greatest films of all time, but an 8.2 out of 10 as a slapstick comedy, I think that is a perfect score for me. So with that being said, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do whatever. As always, it has been Cheesy TV, covering both 2025 films and comedy films. This just happened to be a double whammy. Make sure you go check out the social medias so you don't miss any updates. I'm streaming, I'm doing new music Friday, I'm doing all sorts of stuff. New music has been going crazy at the start of the year. Have that noti bell everywhere you are, everywhere you see me. Have a good rest of your day, night, whenever you are watching. Peace.